Okay, we can probably get started here. Let's see. Okay, good morning. This is the weekly VOLTHA TST meeting. And let's see. Got a late attendance today. For announcements, last week I mentioned that I was going to be on vacation, or last week, and I think the week before, I mentioned I'll be on vacation starting the first week in July. Amit is going to cover for the 2nd. We still need to have somebody cover the meeting for the 9th. Mahir wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it or not, so I'll ask again in the TST channel to see if anybody has time to do that. A general announcement. I don't think this is going to affect us very much, but just Linux Foundation is going through and migrating a lot of the Atlassian services from data center licensing over to cloud-based licensing. The Jira server for Open Networking Foundation has not transferred over to the data hasn't been transferred over to Linux Foundation yet, so this will not affect us very much. The new wiki server for the project will be affected, but there's minimum content there, so that should be a really easy migration. But just FYI, that's going on right now. We will do the migration of the Jira records over to Linux Foundation at some point. For updates, I still do not have an update on the AMI migration. We do have somebody that was going to help us out with the VPN setup, but I know they're on vacation, or Canada had a vacation day yesterday, so I haven't had a chance to talk to them. But need to follow up and see how far along that is. Let me see. The V13 release tracker is still out there. We need to get Jenkins back up before we can really start going in after the release content. But these are all the same tickets that were open before. The goal, deploying the new Golang and upgraded Golang interpreter version so we can release VGC. There's some transient failures in the system. A lot of them manifest around ping test. Those are going to have to be debugged. There's some BB-SIM failures related to the end-to-end test failures. There's some VoltCTL failures. There's 2 timeouts, one in VOLTHA protos. When we're generating the protos, we're having a problem there. And there's also one in VOLTHA libgo. It's another, I think that was around profiling, so that'll also have to be looked into. But there's plenty of problems in here if anybody would like to pick up and start working on any of them. Yeah, those will all have to be worked on for part of the release. And with that, the floor is open for discussion if anybody would like to bring anything up.
Do the builds, the images are there now?
I'm sorry, it's hard to hear you, Ablash. I'm listening through the my monitor. Can you repeat that?
I'll try to speak a bit louder. So the jobs were not running, right? So are they up and running now? Or
no, they're not running right now. We need to restore the Jenkins nodes. I'll back up a little bit. The underlying problem was during some cleanup in some of the AWS configurations, some AMI records were deleted. The person thought they were being unused at the time. AMI are AWS machine image or instance or something. I think it's image, but it's basically the basis that's used to spin up Jenkins nodes, cloud nodes to be able to run things. And with that AMI deleted, pretty much having to recreate it from scratch and trying to figure out how to. Part of the problem is it's a little bit older image, so we have to find the original interpreter versions, the compiler versions, things like that, because we can't just jump to the latest and greatest, because everything will be upgraded and that's going to cause a lot of problems. But right now we're still trying to spin the image up to be able to get the jobs back online.
Okay. Because all these failures probably will be able to start looking at them once the jobs start running.
Correct.
Because
Yeah.
the-
Um, you can also try and reproduce them locally on your machine, but just keep in mind that there's going to be some version differences if you have a newer distribution.
yeah, a few of them we were not able to reproduce locally. That was the problem actually.
Mhm.
Only the pipelines they were failing.
Um, I don't know how involved would it be. You could also try to install. Oh, you're not going to know what versions the older ones were. Yeah. You can also try and install older interpreters or locally, just to see if problem symptoms would show up again. But that's kind of a throwing darts at a dartboard.
Okay.
Okay. Well, the floor is still open for discussion if anybody has anything they'd like to bring up. Okay. Looks like we'll have a short meeting then. We can give you quite a bit of time back from the meeting. Okay. If anybody has any questions or anything, feel free to ask them in the channel too. And with that, I guess, thanks for joining.
Thanks, Joey.
Yep.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
You-
Bye.
Yeah, bye.